I have not made a dread video since my first one, and that was almost a year ago, or later this summer it will be, and that was my partial dread video. As you can see, and if you saw any of my other videos, music videos, you would have noticed that I now have all but a complete head of dreads, except for my loose pieces in the front, which I really like. Stuck with that. I like having a little bit of loose hair. So yes, very addictive. I started with one, two, three, and then I couldn't stop. And I don't make videos because I don't have like equipment. I just use a cell phone, and I'm not really good at technology. So, but because specifically I wanted to felt wool into my hair, and I noticed that there aren't any videos online about this. So I was going to do one just because I want to help other people out that are trying to learn how to do this. And I did watch the videos that I could find. They were really helpful, but I noticed there's two different ways of doing it. Some people were using like soapy wet water, which is how you felt wool to begin with, and putting that in their hair. I don't want to put any soap in my hair, so even like a natural soap, I didn't want to do that. And I thought I would go with the ones who are actually using felting needles and felting it into my hair. And I have this one, and it went really well, so I am going to show you how to do it. I'm not going to pretend that I've done this any sooner than the one I just did, but I'm a fast learner, and it was really easy, so that should inspire you to go ahead and do it. So I have the separate one. My dreads are all different widths, which is the way I wanted it. So I'm actually picking thinner dreads to wool or felt the wool into, just to make them a little thicker, and so that the thick ones that I have aren't going to be even more thicker. What you need is roving wool. I did not find this in Michaels or AC Moore, at least near where I live. I saw it online, but I googled felting supplies near me, and there were actually a few stores, like kind of mom and pop shops near me, that had them. And there's this place in Landisville, Pennsylvania, Flying Fibers. Really cute store. They had a whole bunch of it, spinning wheels, yarn, everything. And this really pretty, I bought way too much, so if anybody lives in Lancaster and wants their dreads felted, give me a call. I can dread the whole town. Felt dread the whole town. Really pretty, very variated colors. There's some orange that's really close to my hair. Actually, my daughter picked it out because of that. She saw the little pieces in there and thought that would go good in my hair. But there's purples and blues, and once you felt it, they mix even more together and just become this really pretty color blue. So I'm happy with it. I didn't want anything too drastic. Like, I think white would look cool, but I didn't want anything too contrasted to start with. So you don't need this much. Like an ounce would be plenty for one dread. You're just gonna pull off a little piece at a time, maybe a couple. You want them short, like an inch, inch and a half. And if you pull them off too long, you can pull them again. Hold it loosely and pull. You're not ripping them, you're just separating them. Until you get a piece like that. You're still going to want to see through it a little bit. And you take your dread. Now those are even too long. Let me see if I can shorten them at all. Yeah, it's a little shorter. This is a thin one. Where to go? Not you. You get over here. That's the one I wanted. You're going to take your felt, or your wool rather. It's not felt yet. And you're going to wrap it around your little dread. And it should stick fairly easy just like that, but I quickly learned that giving it a palm roll after you do that will make it much easier. It won't fall off while you're felting it. So there it is. We'll leave that there for a second, and I'll talk about the felting needles. They are just sharp needles with tiny little burrs on it. Barbs. And they come in different like severities of how sharp or how big they are, the little barbs. They are fine, coarse, medium. I went with medium. I think coarse would probably do too much damage to your dress. It would probably break the hairs easier. And I thought the fine ones would probably take too long. I don't seem to be having any trouble with the medium here. I don't know much about felting, if anything, so forgive my layman terms. But I just went middle of the road and got medium, and they've been working fine. It doesn't seem to be doing damage. So anyway, once you have the wool around your dread, you carefully, I'm holding two just because I got to, and it goes a little faster that way. And they're not hard to hold on to. Kind of hold like a dart. Steady. Move your other hand out of the way and just start going like this. You don't want to pull your dread super tight, because if you do that, you're going to pull all the hairs inside of it extra taut. And I think that the risk of damaging it with the needle going in and out would be greater, because the hairs can't move to the side to get out of the way, and so they'll just like break. You still need to hold it. Just let a little give. It moves around a little bit more, but for the sake of saving your dread, it's worth it. And yes, these are very sharp. And yes, you will bleed if you stab yourself. So you keep your hands down here, felt above it, move your hands. Just back and forth, turn, rotate the dread. They make things called felting blocks, which I did not buy when I was there. And that is something that you can put behind what you're felting, and then the needles go through what you're felting and into the block. I'm just kind of using mid-air and being really careful. But if you're having trouble holding it, or you keep stabbing yourself and you don't have a felting block, get like a brush. It can be flat. I don't have a flat one. I haven't used this obviously in a long time for anything else, but it has the dense bristles underneath there. And like you can lay your dread on the brush and then go into it like that. And then just lift it, turn it. It's kind of similar to some of the felting blocks. It's just like a block with a bunch of like either synthetic like bristles on it. Gives just a backdrop for the felting. So yeah, that's going to be a lot safer than the mid-air. But listen, I didn't really have any trouble here, so I'm just going to keep doing it this way. Now, as you're doing this, you'll start to realize and feel that it's changing from the fluffy wool to feel more like your dread as it's interlocking with your hair. So you just keep going until it uniformly feels like that. Now, when you wash your hair next, whenever that may be, that will further the felting process naturally, and it'll felt even more and lock up even more after that first wash. So it don't feel you have to be like 100% felted in here. But you'll know, you'll feel the difference between when you first laid the wool on and once it's felted pretty evenly. Just feel it for the fuzzy spots and felt in those spots. That's pretty good. And you just repeat that process. Loosely hold your wool. Pull a few pieces if you got it too long. I think it works better like shorter but thicker. Then you only have to like wrap it around once. But if you end up with some long pieces, just wrap it around a couple times like this. So that one I had to wrap several times, but that's okay. It works. Pull it down a little bit. Palm roll. That will make it much easier. Much, much easier. Pick up your little felting needle or needles, hold them like a dart, and back to felting. I'd say you could do this while you're watching TV, but I highly recommend you do it with your eyes on what you're doing, or you will be bleeding. That first one probably actually did take me 45 minutes. Depends obviously how long your dreads are. But I kind of think it's fun. I mean, you get to see your progress as you go. So it's kind of almost instant gratification. So it's not really driving me nuts. I don't mind it. It's kind of fun. You'll need a mirror because if you can see your hair, obviously you can just look down at it. But as you get up closer to the root, and I got really pretty close. There's probably like a half an inch there. I could get closer, but it got kind of hard and I was a little bit afraid of stabbing myself in the head. But I do have a mirror like right here, because when you get past the point where you can see it, you definitely are going to need a mirror. But I wouldn't stand in front of the sink. That's going to be really exhausting. Get a mirror you can sit down in front of. And then just keep going. I'm pulling out. I look in the mirror with a mirror in the back so I can see the back, and I'm pulling out the dreads so I can have them kind of like evenly sporadic, which is an oxymoron in itself, but my little OCD likes things to be evenly sporadic. It's hard to explain. But I separate them with like little rubber bands so I know where I want them, and then I can just feel them out. And like this one, I liked where that one would look placement wise, so I separated that one so I can just grab it and felt it. And I'll probably start with just a few, see how it looks, and then probably get more roving in a different color that coordinates, and a lot less than this. The place where I go, you can actually just pull off however much you want, and they'll lay it out and buy it, and you can pay for just what you need. So I would probably just get like maybe that much of a color for a few, maybe a little more, and that will be fine. So it's not going to be expensive. So I'll keep this short and sweet and leave you with that. Just keep going, keep working your way up the dread, and when you're done, you'll have this beautiful colored, very soft, very fun to feel felted dread. If you want to see more videos about my dreads, leave suggestions in the comments. I know they're very amateur and I'm kind of just stumbling around here with my words, but I love to help people. So if you found this video helpful and you want more tips and tricks and decorating and all that, anything, just let me know and I can try to work on that for you. And thanks for stopping by. Happy felting.